I'm just going to read this. I'm just going to start reading this, and I might skip a few parts. Just feel free to interrupt at any point, but you kind of just have to hear it. Because it's just so insane. So just to preface, this is a 4chan thread about a guy who claims there's like these Antarctic pyramids with temples inside that like predict the future, and that the Antichrist is underneath ice.
The ice like 2 miles thick in Antarctica.
Yeah. All right, here it goes. Okay, guys, I've been refraining from posting this for some time, even back in the older days of Antarctica on X and Pole several years ago. I figure now that was a good time as any. I stopped myself from posting because I feared gang stalking or being traced. If there was any truth to what I'm about to post, now I just think, screw it. This post will likely go unnoticed anyway, and gang stalking is just an irrational fear for myself. My knowledge of Antarctica comes from my best friend of 50 years now. Though we grew up together, we grew up in very different conditions. He was part of a rich family who owned the largest factories in my hometown. I was the opposite, just a naive kid playing around town when we first met. We were best friends then, and I still consider him my best friend now, despite him traveling around the world, going to Princeton and doing whatever he wanted. The point is, he's a 31st degree Mason and has lived a life way beyond I can imagine. By the way, Masons go all the way up to 33. 32nd degree is pretty much the highest you can get, 31 as well. 33rd is basically just honorary. Like if you get to 32nd, they basically just give you a 33rd. It's just like an honorary thing. So 31st is pretty much the highest you can go. 31st or 32nd. Keep in mind also, let's see, there's two rites. Let's see. There's the Scottish Rite and the York Rite. Let's see. So the York Rite only has like a few degrees, and then the Scottish Rite goes up to 33. Blue Lodges only do the first 4 degrees of the York Rite, though. So this user is talking about the Scottish Rite, York Rite. Let's see, how many degrees are in the York Rite? There's 11 degrees of the York Rite, 33 of the Scottish Rite. So keep in mind, Blue Lodges only go up to the first 4 with Master Mason. Let's see, I think Master Mason is the 4th. I don't know, it's been a while since I read about Masons. But anyways, point is, 31st degree of the Scottish Rite is pretty high up. It takes like a lifetime, which makes this kind of unbelievable. But anyways, this is me reading again. This comes from him. His story hasn't changed, though he told me this roughly 5 years ago and told me crap would be happening in less than a decade. This starts with religion. And at first I rolled my eyes, but as he talked more, it sent shivers up and down my spine. So the Masons have been in charge of controlling and releasing information to the public at reasonable levels. That is what he told me the majority of Masonic duty entails. And the first piece of media they altered was the Bible. Not true. A major part of the Bible was cut out from the Revelations. You can tell someone's stupid when they call it the Book of Revelations instead of Book of Revelation. Okay, were you saying something?
Anybody talking about it in general, like whenever I hear someone mention that book, I'm just like instantly dismiss everything they were saying.
Yeah. First off, Masons influencing the Bible. Basically, people...
Biggest conspiracy of our time, man. Changing the Bible, crazy.
Even though people do it all the time, we have really old manuscripts. So anyone who claims the Bible was changed, unless it goes back to like medieval scribes making errors, they don't really have a point. Because our ability to translate does not go down over time.
We can translate just as well as we could, or probably better, actually.
And we have old manuscripts. We have manuscripts now that predate the manuscripts for the King James Version. In fact, the manuscripts used for the King James Version weren't even that good. Like, the ones that were selected were, like, really bad. So, and there was one that was really forged that got put in. It was like a fake manuscript used for the Gospel of John, and it was basically just forced in there. It was the Johannine comma. Basically, it was a comma that was put in to just prove the Trinity, even though there's no basis for the Trinity in the Bible. Yeah, Christians get mad when you say that, but it's true. Basically, you know, people say, oh, Masons changed the Bible. Okay, well, the Masons didn't exist during the composition of the Bible. We still have those manuscripts. Second, even if they
changed all of history, so...
Oh, yeah. None
of your evidence is good.
Even if someone changed the Bible now, which people do, because there's all kinds of translations, you don't have to read it. You can just read an accurate translation. You can read the NRSV, you can read the KJV, Geneva Bible, you can read all kinds of early translations. You can read whatever Bible translation you want. If you want to read the New Life versions, give yourself evangelical brain rot, be my guest. But you're deceiving yourself, and it's your problem. I mean...
They go to hell.
Yeah.
Sorry, unfortunately.
Well, Christians tell people to go to hell all the time, so we can do that too.
Bad. Go get over it.
Yeah, I think the reason people think that Masons changed the Bible is because Masons have a few weird beliefs on the Bible. Basically, they take the historical books about Solomon's temple. Those are very important to them. Not in a literal sense of belief, but in terms of ideology. Basically, they take a kind of alchemical approach where they view Solomon's temple as kind of like, the whole my body is a temple thing. They view Solomon's temple as building up oneself. And Hiram Abiff, a bit of a background character in historical books, they view Hiram Abiff as a alchemist Mason, and so they use the Bible in the context of their kind of beliefs, although they're not reliant upon one religion over the other. As long as you believe in God, you can be a Mason, regardless of religion. So, but they have something called the Masonic Bible, and the Masonic Bible is not literally a Christian Bible. It contains some books of the Bible in the context not of belief, but in the context of they are relevant to Masonry. In the Masonic Bible, there are also various articles written about Masonry. I think maybe a few, important people like Albert Pike, for example. They also call them different things. Let's see. What do Masons call different books of the Bible? They have different names, I think. I don't know. I swear that some editions had, different names. They weren't, crazy names, I don't think. But the conspiracies about Masonry in the Bible are just dumb because Masonry came after the Bible. Because Masonry started because of stonemasons building cathedrals. So how can Masons, change the Bible when the Bible is already created at that point? That doesn't make sense.
Part of the Bible was changed to the point where they don't agree with it anymore. It kind of sounds like you're not...
Well, the thing is, if the Masons changed the Bible, then they weren't very good at it because the Masonic Bible, you can just buy that. You can just buy the Masonic Bible just I've seen them at thrift stores. I flipped through them. They're not crazy. It's just a bunch of Masonic texts interspersed with some biblical texts. And then there's a portion for you to write down your name and then and your ancestors' names and fill out your little family tree. It's not crazy. And the Masons have been infiltrated a million times. Tree. The Masons aren't even that powerful. The Illuminati, back when they were a thing, they recruited from the Masons. The Masons, even if they were sketchy, they're just a front. They're not even capable of running a conspiracy.
The Illuminati was so strong.
Yeah. I mean, OTO claims to be the Illuminati, but, there's no evidence of that. There are some real Masonic conspiracies. I'm pretty sure, I think it was the Italian government was almost overthrown by Masons because, a lot of powerful people were in the lodges. Because they have, brotherhoods, so if you get a lot of powerful people together in a lodge, then, they can start scheming. I'll say that.
Yes.
And here's a dumb thing. Catholics are really afraid of Masons, for some reason. If you're a Catholic, you're not allowed to be a Mason. And,
they have everything.
Yeah, Catholics are party poopers. I think they have their own secret society.
Definitely, Catholic orders.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Order of St. Barbara is Catholic, but that's a secret artillery.
Okay,
order.
I think theirs is Opus Dei. I think that is I think Opus Dei is the secret society of the Catholic Church, kind of. Jesuits, kind of. Templars, kind of. I don't know. Depends on definitions at that point. Yeah, from what you told me... Sorry, what was the patron saint of the artillery order?
Barbara?
Saint Barbara. Wasn't that really a Catholic order, or was it more just secret drinking club?
Yeah, just plan up to figure that out, or whatever they say.
Sign up to figure it out. That's code for we're gonna beat you up.
Cell.
That's code for they're gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Secret societies are never cool though. It's just secret. They just claim to be cool, but then when you join, it's just a bunch of people drinking. What's the point of a secret society if everyone's just gonna drink?
Yeah, they're all just drinking clubs and gay sex clubs.
Yeah, at least OTO is a real thing, kind of. Let's be on the point. Back to the post. A major part of the Bible was cut out from Revelation, calls it Book of Revelations, what a moron. Book of Revelation revealing where the Antichrist... Okay, Antichrist is not even mentioned in the Book of Revelation. I guess he's saying it's taken out, but Antichrist was from the letters of John. 1st and 2nd John, not Revelation. Antichrist and the
real
beast...
Antichrist is the friends we made along the way.
Real Antichrist is Nero. He'll come and he will sing on his roof and burn down cities once again.
Real Antichrist is the dangerous teen learning about transgenderism.
Yeah. Nero just wanted everyone... Nero just wanted everyone to be gay. Let that sink
have more
in.
homies to hook up with.
Yeah. He's just so manly that he just became gay. That's how manly
What's the point
he
of being
is.
gay if no one else was gay?
Someone had to do it.
Had to do it.
Where the Antichrist and the beast would emerge from, he said the section they cut out, the most important, I think it's continued, stated that the last Antichrist would be the total opposite of Jesus, spreading disease from an old age, which turned most humans into zombies, or some weird stuff he said. Anyways, he said this Antichrist, who was trapped in a frozen wasteland with magnificent buildings. Okay, this is literally just copying Mountains of Madness at this point. With magnificent buildings.
I don't even think Jews knew what ice was back then. Let's be real. They lived in a desert.
Have you seen there was like a guy who placed a bounty, like a reward, for someone who could like ship a giant ice cube over to Africa? And then some dude then some dude got like a refrigerated truck and then brought like a giant ice cube over to like a remote tribesman in Africa. They were just like, they're just kind of like sat there in silence, just kind of like felt it, like confused. Didn't really do anything. Like nothing really happened. They kind of just acted confused and kind of just went back to whatever they were doing.
Wholesome. I thought that story was going to go a lot worse than it was, but
no, it was in modern times. It was in like 20th century, after Europe already did their damage. Just harmless. Just a couple dudes just wanting to show some Africans an ice cube. Oh my gosh.
Get canceled for that.
Yeah. Spreading. Okay. He said this Antichrist was trapped in a frozen wasteland with magnificent buildings and was being held captive by kms of ice. He didn't know exactly, but if this is an individual, even the Masons think it is a virus of some sort. The Bible didn't specifically state, but he said this is where the saying comes from: when hell freezes over, hell is already frozen over. Once hell is defrozen, then real hell will be unleashed. What the heck? Okay, so if it says when hell... Okay, let's just find that verse. When hell freezes over. Is this even a real verse?
That's a Bible verse.
I swear this isn't even a real verse.
Like a thing people say.
Yeah, this is not even a verse. I was going to say, I don't even remember. Okay, when hell freezes over is a song lyric from the band The Eagles. Yeah, it's from an Eagles song. What the heck? It's not even in the Bible. This guy. Oh, but wait a minute.
Average Christian, yeah.
Later on in the post, he says that pop culture is full of like secret messaging. So maybe the Eagles was run by the Masons, according to this conspiracy.
Referencing the part of the Bible that was taken out.
Yeah, maybe if Joseph Smith wasn't martyred, we would get to hear about that part, about the Antichrist being frozen in Antarctica. Or maybe...
Why would he need to be frozen if he was like literally the Emperor of Rome?
Or here's a question. When the Jehovah's Witnesses retranslated the Bible, why didn't they include this part? Because they got it right, supposedly. They just forgot this part.
Jehovah's Witness.
Where was I? Hell is already frozen over. Once hell is defrozen, then real hell will be unleashed. Okay, so when it says when hell freezes over, why would it imply that it needs to defreeze too? Like, was it like hamburger? Like you have to like freeze your hamburger, then you have to defreeze it? Like what? Put hell in defreeze for like 10 minutes?
That's why the billionaires want to cause global warming. It's a conspiracy to kill everyone.
Yep. So trying to unleash hell on everyone. Alright, now I'm reading again.
We all deserve it.
Yeah. He told me these temples in Antarctica have been explored by a group of people in control in the government. The same group is doing crowd control methods all around the world, have been digging hoping to find this Antichrist buried in Antarctica because some believe it is the key to immortality. So that's why the billionaires are doing it. They're like, oh, it's immortality. Okay, this is literally just Project Blackwing in Star Wars now. Like Darth Scabrous created something called the Sickness, which was created through Sith alchemy, which was like it was a disease created. It's basically zombies in Star Wars. So Scabrous created like this like disease via Sith alchemy that was supposed to grant him immortality, but instead it just created like this like zombie hive mind. Sorry, go ahead.
It didn't work.
Well, he was also like evil, so he didn't really care that it didn't work. I mean, his intention was to become immortal, but it just created like, it just created a sickness hive mind, and he lived in a tower. Below him was a Sith Academy, and then all his students became infected with the sickness, and then eventually it stayed dormant. Then later, the Empire started doing research on it, and then that was Project Blackwing, and then and then that's where the Death Troopers come in. All the stormtroopers on the research vessel got infected, and then Han Solo and Chewbacca have to escape the research vessel without getting infected.
Okay.
Have you heard about Death Troopers before? It's pretty recognizable lore.
I've heard of that. Like, so there was a Sith Academy. Does that mean the Rule of Two didn't apply yet back then?
So the Rule of Two was a pretty late thing with the Sith. So Darth Bane started the Rule of Two. And the Rule of Two really marks the end of the Old Republic. So Darth Bane realized that the Sith really held themselves back. When you have a philosophy about going against everyone and everything, completely self-centered, you can't really maintain the Sith if everyone is just so self-centered. Everyone is out for each other.
Ayn Rand philosophy?
Sorry, what?
Said that makes Ayn Rand was the Sith Lord.
Yeah, you can't. The Sith were individualistic, so how do you expect them to work together if they're all self-serving? So there, for example, there was a Sith Council, sort of like the Jedi Council. It was completely incompetent. They couldn't do anything. In fact, the Sith Council was mainly like a front. Yeah. The Sith Council was kind of like a front. They didn't really achieve much. In fact, it was more of like a way to like root out like disloyal people, because they created the Sith Council, and then they would say, we're actually going to assassinate X, Y, and Z. We're going to assassinate all these people in the Sith Council, and then they'd try and get people to like agree to it. And then once they agree to it, they'd be like, okay, these people are unloyal, let's kill them. So they would kind of just use that as a way to...
Smart.
Yeah, so it was kind of just like a front. But the Sith Council, they'd constantly be killing each other. Nothing would ever happen. And basically, it's kind of like militaristic. The Sith were kind of feudal. So the original Sith... So the term Darth literally is an abbreviation of Dark Lord of the Sith. And Dark Lord referring to like dark side, because the first people with the dark side were dark Jedi. And then Lord of the Sith, when it says Lord, it means literal like feudal lord over the Sith, because the Sith purebloods were on their world. I think it was Korriban. I think it had a few others. So the pureblood Sith were, in tune with the dark side, but they were unrefined in their skills. And then Ajunta Paul, I think, was the first Dark Jedi to kind of civilize the Sith. It may have been Ajunta Paul, I don't know. Basically, a Dark Jedi goes over to the Sith purebloods, teaches them the ways of the dark side, and then he becomes the first Dark Lord of the Sith, because he's a literal lord over the Sith. And then the Sith purebloods are, become the Sith, the traditional Sith. Then eventually there's all this pureblood Sith are genocided by the Republic, and there's various subspecies like. Sorry, what?
Like there was a vote in the Republic, and they voted to genocide the Sith.
It was a literal Holocaust.
Yeah.
And there was also a subspecies called the Massassi. The Massassi built the Yavin 4 temples. And the Massassi were trained, were literally bred to be like primitive. Exar Kun created the Massassi, and he told them he was their god. I mean, he did create them after all. So he posed as a god, and then the New Republic went over to Yavin 4 and just glassed the entire planet, destroyed the entire ecosystem. So the Jedi had to go back, create an underground city called the Lost City of the Jedi. And the Lost City of the Jedi was like a underground. It basically monitored the ecological status of Yavin 4. So Yavin 4, its ecosystem was kept in a homeostasis by the Lost City of the Jedi. And the Lost City of the Jedi also... So Exar Kun, when he died, obviously if you're a Sith, you can't be immortal. So what he did is he tied himself either to the planet or the temples. I think he tied himself to one of the temples, his spirit to the temple. So what the Lost City of the Jedi also did is it regulated Exar Kun, so it kept him in check. After the Empire destroyed this is like 4,000 years later. Once the Empire destroyed the Lost City of the Jedi, there was nothing restraining Exar Kun at that point. And then once Luke started his academy on Yavin 4 in the temples, that's when Exar Kun started wreaking havoc on first Gantoris, then started tempting Streen, and then it temporarily kicked Luke out of his body, so he was just in like an astral form. And then Luke's students had to kill Exar Kun, destroy Exar Kun for good. But that's beyond the point. The Sith.
How that relates to the cryptid thing.
Well, I gotta finish first. The Sith purebloods were genocided, and then it was just a philosophy at that point. Like anyone could be a Sith, sort of like how anyone could be a Mandalorian. So eventually, Darth Bane decided, okay, this is stupid. We need only 2 Sith. So then they got rid of all the other Sith, and then there was only 2 going forward. And then Master and Apprentice, and then it just kind of goes forward up until Palpatine, who's the last. Then after that, the Sith are gone until the Legacy era with Darth Krayt, who started the Rule of One, and then he kind of has his own philosophy. There were other Darksiders after Palpatine, obviously. Darth Caedus, Darth Chronal, some other wannabe kind of Sith as well. There was also X1. There was, who else? Prophets of the Dark Side. The fake ones, not the real ones. Yeah. Why did we start talking about the Sith? Like, what was the point?
You're saying like the Antichrist in in Antarctica is like frozen. It's kind of like that Sith dude, because like he was like gonna get awakened, and then they like killed the Jedi Academy had to fight him.
Well, it can relate to that. We'll go with that. There's the lesson. Okay. So teams have been digging, blowing up stuff, covering up, stopping visits. Though he said you can visit the outside portions of Antarctica. And the Antarctic Treaty. Only those who know you will ever get to see those temples, and constantly destroying any information leaked from this expedition.
Connect and reconnect.
He told me several years ago some Russian thought he found a portion. Okay. The reason I started talking was the immortality reminded me of Project Blackwing and Darth Scabrous. Yeah, so yeah, that's why. Injected with cell, and also the book that's from is called Red Harvest. It's pretty good. It's like kind of like reminds me of Harry Potter almost, but like with Sith. I don't know, it's beyond the point. He injected himself with an ancient virus they discovered in a vial in one of the temples. He even cringed when talking to... He cringed when talking to this story and said, the guy instantly turned blue and froze over. Everyone ran out and when they returned, his body was gone. Now, they only work in those giant radioactive suits. He then had to replace him with a body double for anyone to avoid or notice something was wrong in his real life. He went into great detail about how big and complicated those temples... let's see. Connor can't hear me.
I can hear you now. Good.
Oh, you can hear me? Okay, so basically a guy tried to take the virus, which he thought would give him immortality, but it actually his body just disappeared, so they had to replace him with a body double. That's it. And he went into great detail about how big and complicated those temples are, and he calls it a big giant city, expand across the entire continent. He said for one temple, when you enter, there are hundreds of rooms, hallways, traps, all kinds of symbols and stuff on the walls, large books of ancient texts no one can read, vials upon vials of random liquids, and they can't even remotely identify. But he says most contain living organisms in these vials. They're protected behind large traps, stuff from Indiana Jones. Okay, he's not even trying at this point. He said they've already lost over 500 people exploring, and now they're using robots. Robots are real too now. But this stuff is so complicated. You have to move blocks, open doors, solve riddles. I don't know. He said it's truly a giant mousetrap. There are keys and legends on the walls, and a single room can contain up to 100 different keys for solving one
Who
trap.
built this place?
Sorry, what?
Who built it?
We don't know.
Did he say yet? We built a giant death maze.
I don't know. I think he means like aliens
To
built
get around that?
But like, what was in the first Harry Potter movie, how there's like that underground chamber? Not the Chamber of Secrets. It's like the chamber that Voldemort was hiding in, on the back of that dude's head, where they were keeping the Philosopher's Stone.
It's called the Philosopher's Stone in the UK version, and it's called the Sorcerer's Stone in the American
Sorcerer's
version.
Stone. Okay.
But like the original is the Philosopher's Stone, but they re-recorded lines in the movie for the American release. Kind of funny.
Probably don't want. I mean, Christians were going crazy about Harry Potter being evil, so they probably didn't want to have like an alchemical reference in there.
Yeah.
What was the room where the mirror Erised was kept? In the magic mirror in
I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember which room it is.
Okay, so basically, so there's that room they keep it in, under Hogwarts, and then there's like various rooms on like Trell. There's like various like secret rooms. There's like one where you have to like play chess. You have to like play wizard chess for some reason. There's also the room with like the 3-headed dog. That's like what this guy's saying. It's like what this dude's like writing for Antarctica.
He's kind of like, like how in Breath of the Wild there's like random.
Puzzles.
I don't know if you play Breath of the Wild. It's the Zelda game.
I know the part you're talking about.
There's like this giant like labyrinths everywhere. That's just what's in Antarctica. How you get around that? You get like the boring company.
Yeah.
Giant tunnel boring machines. Like you use your X-rays, like not X-rays. Don't go very deep. You gotta get like the right type of beam. Scan it through the earth. Like find the chamber and just use the tunnel boring machine to dig down into there so you can skip all the puzzles.
That's what they did with the Sphinx. I was mentioning earlier before you hopped on here, Edgar Casey claimed there was like all these chambers underneath the Sphinx, so they just used that technology to see if there was like anything below the surface, and there was literally nothing. He was just straight up wrong. So same idea.
Wah wah.
Yeah, he
There's
said
2-kilometer long pillars underneath the pyramid, man.
Yeah, and what's your source?
We did an ultrasound of the sand.
So you can do an ultrasound, but you couldn't get a peer review. Curious.
They did an ultrasound from space of the ground, and they got random feedback noise that they used AI to interpret into an image.
That's fun. There's real Egyptology
AI
out there.
Never been wrong.
There's real Egyptology out there, and we run with that. I'm gonna start reading again.
Egyptology is just like
it's like when
getting rage baited. That's like your whole job.
Egyptology is like you just listen to whoever is like talking the loudest. It's like someone says like, "Oh, who did this?" and I'm saying, "Oh, well, this person did it," and then someone says, "No, you did it. You did it." I'm like, well, okay, and then everybody starts listening to him because he's the loudest. And there's no real reason we should be listening to them just because they say it, but they're just saying it the loudest. So now it's just a thing, apparently. People are always going to prefer alien stuff over real Egyptology. Like, Egypt is naturally interesting, even without aliens. So why do you need to put aliens in there when it's already interesting? Like, if you only care about Egypt because
brain rot.
Yeah, like, if you only care about Egypt because of aliens, then maybe you just don't actually like Egypt. Like, maybe you just secretly don't like it, so you just have to make it interesting by including a bunch of random nonsense.
You're just a child. You need to grow up.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't handle real Egyptology. You just
handle the truth.
Yeah, you can't handle it. It's too mature for you. If you saw what Set did to Horus, you wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Yeah, I don't even know what I'm saying at this point.
That's a good reference.
Yeah,
moderate ball knowledge on the podcast.
It's a pretty basic story. I mean, it's just Cain and Abel. There's a bunch of deep cuts. The Great Honker. Yeah, look up the Great Honker, everyone. It's my favorite origin myth. Anyways, where was I? He said they've already lost over 5... Nope, I gotta get that. It's a giant mousetrap. There are keys and legends on the walls. And a single... Okay, if it's why would you put the keys on the wall? If it's supposed to keep people out, why would you put the answer built into the system?
Chosen one can do it.
Okay.
Chosen one can
and a single room can contain up to 100 different keys for solving to open a trap. Okay, were escape rooms a thing back then? Like, were people in Antarctica, like, building escape rooms? Like, what?
Just make, like, a key, like a normal lock that, like, is actually a lock.
It's crazy stuff, and they have the smartest people working on it. They send They send in the third world people to go and open the doors, and they think they solved it. It's stuff I still don't know what to make of. So some other stuff he told me, most movies and books are representing what they think will happen when it's discovered. Like Transformers with the frozen bot, forgot his name. Whatever. All these zombie movies and all this other stuff in the media. I'm not sure if you guys really care. Essentially, I have crazy stories from him from all these years. A lot of examples I forgot because of our drunken binges, but this is the gist of it. Don't know if it confirms anything to you guys, but it's my 2 cents. Thank you, Ann, and I will type out everything I know. This is him responding to someone. He said Game of Thrones, one of the only shows I watched, so I can relate to what he said, shows that what they think will happen when they discover the Antichrist. They aren't sure it is, but the White Walkers are meant to get normies ready to fight against the possible zombie outbreak. What did I just read? Game of Thrones is priming the normies for the Antichrist.
Wouldn't that be Breaking Bad? Not The Walking Dead. Wouldn't that make more sense?
Well, he already said that zombie movies are psyop. You already said that in the last paragraph. I mean, I can accept that World War Z is a Zionist psyop. I mean, like every single country is defeated except for Israel. Like, come on.
That's not the point of the original.
I'm going to go on. And they think it is soon. A quote he kept repeating from the Bible is, after the war of wars, after the winter of winters, is when everything would happen. Okay, I think that's probably a made-up verse, too. I don't know. I mean, it's over 1,000 pages. The Bible's over, 1,000 pages, so you can pretty much say anything, and it might just be in there somewhere. My BS detector.
That sounds pretty made up, though.
Yeah, my BS detector is going up. It sounds like someone, imitating biblical language.
Pretty bad red flag.
Okay, well, here's a verse similar. Let me just get the King James Version. And ye shall hear of wars, and this is Matthew 24, 6-13. I'm just going to read a few of these. And
rumors of wars?
Yeah. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not be troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay. That's literally the antithesis. That's literally the opposite of what this guy's saying. So that verse has completely nothing to do with this. Okay, so this dude's just making up verses, but he can do it because he also claims that everything was taken out of the Bible. So he can just make anything up and say it's in the Bible. But
did that verse say that not the sign of the end? That the end is not coming?
Yeah, it's basically what it says. But I don't get it. He says stuff was taken out of the Bible, but the Bible wasn't written all at the same time. You can read the transcripts of the council and where they canonized the New Testament. So it's not like they would canonize something and then decanonize it. We already know the text they decanonized, Shepherd of Hermas, Gospel of Philip. Those ones got pretty high up with the canon, but then they were just taken out, or the Apocrypha was taken out mainly to save paper, and it was mainly Second Temple period text anyway. It wasn't really interesting. The Catholics have a few additions. They have a longer version of Esther, Bill and the Dragon, Sirach, Maccabees, some deuterocanonical ones, but there's nothing. If something was taken out of the Bible, we would know about it, because we have all the transcripts of everything that was included. So if there was a few books missing, we'd be like, oh, well, what happened to these? And then we have manuscripts that predate the Masons. So if the Masons put something in, we'd be able to tell. And we can tell when something was put in. So when this guy's just yapping about stuff taken out of the Bible, that's literally impossible, because we'd be able to know. This dude's brain dead. I don't get it. Or maybe it's
read the comments afterwards. See if anyone else is immediately as thrown off as we are.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, maybe it's like Muslims where they're like, oh, the Injil was lost, and Jesus wrote the Injil, but we don't have it anymore. That's the real New Testament. Okay, there's no evidence that Jesus even knew how to read or write, and the Injil, there's no evidence for that either. So whatever. Actually, I don't know. Could Jesus read? Okay, yeah. Jesus could probably read and write, because in the Gospel of John, actually, no. Well, let me go on this for a second. So there's the verses where Jesus, this go sin, where he says go sin no more. There's a part where he's writing something in the dirt with a stick, so he obviously knows how to write. But that story was included a couple hundred years after. That was just kind of randomly added in, so that's not historical. Here's something from the Bart Ehrman blog, which is a pretty reliable source. Here's a quote. My strong sense is that Jesus could not write. I think he certainly could not compose. He was probably never trained to copy, for example, the scriptures. That kind of training took years, and I doubt if the kind of hand-to-mouth existence he and his family had in the little hamlet of Nazareth would have afforded him the time to leisure to get it. But could he read? As it turns out, there is some conflict over that matter just within the pages of the New Testament. In Mark 6, we learn that Jesus' own townspeople, the ones he grew up with, are flabbergasted that he has learned of any kind and can't understand that he came by it. This is based on his teaching in the synagogue, and the passage does not indicate that Jesus actually read the scriptures before he started teaching about them, but the clear implication from this, or our earliest account of the matter, is that Jesus was not known by the people who would have known to have had an education. Okay, it looks like there's just kind of like some contradictory evidence, but that makes sense because the New Testament was written by different authors, so I don't know, I guess no, but like it's possible, I guess, but there's just really no evidence that he'd ever be trained in that. But I guess if you're also like the Son of God, like I'm sure you could figure it out, so yeah. Okay. He thinks the War of Wars was from World War II up until now. Non-stop fighting up across the Earth, and the Winter of Winters refers to the ice of Antarctica decreasing and opening up parts of islands still frozen. Another crazy fact he said they knew is there will be Jesus or Christ right beside the Antichrist, and you will get to choose when it is first discovered. I think it will be 2 vials beside each other, and you will have to drink one. After the Russians, they put a ban from ingesting any stuff from these temples to prevent anything from happening. It's truly a lot of arguments because everyone wants to be the first to keep discovering, but they are in disagreement of what to do with these random vials they keep finding. He said each other has random living organisms inside of it, and the bacteria and the viruses we have never seen before. Stuff makes apple rot in minutes, and monkeys explode diarrhea and shaking to death. Okay, can you still hear me, by the way?
Still hear you. I'm just letting you talk.
Okay, let me just read that again. Stuff that makes apples rot in minutes, and monkeys explode diarrhea and shaking to death. What the heck?
He's just describing the food. He's describing the Taco Bell.
Yeah. He's describing suspicious stew from Minecraft. You just don't know what each one does. The coolest thing he said was there is a frozen giant skeleton in golden armor in one of the temples, holding the skull of a giant reptile, which looks to be over 30 feet tall. The giant and the reptile head is roughly the size of a van. It's incredible to see and unbelievable. Okay. He mentioned some Jewish show on TV called The 100. Okay, I don't know what Judaism has to do with that show. I haven't seen either. I haven't seen it, but he said the leader takes a chip or drinks something which gives them the recollection of all knowledge previously and lets them control others with their minds. That is what they think is in the immortality vial. So the media and the stuff they keep releasing is just them theorizing everything and making entertainment of it. It's funny because the truth, in a way, he said, and the public just eats it up. One in a long binge, he did tell me everything they found so far. It must have been hours. He was just talking, and lots of stuff just went through me because it was unbelievable. Aside from the traps, the walls are covered in symbols and images, stuff which supposedly happened, stuff which hasn't happened, and stuff which just no one knows what to think about it. He said these images, though drawn in some ink, which looks like it's printed on a piece of paper, has predicted many events recently. In the Illuminati card game, the Piece of Fortune I do enjoy threads about, were actually pictures on the walls of these temples. He said they look so lifelike, even though being drawn, they had to release them in a game because the events were happening, coming true over time. And they keep doing, which is scary and crazy. For them, it's just another piece of media which flies over the heads of the population. But for them, it's a giant timeline. He said there's tons of crap hidden in the media, which they find and subtly hide. But it doesn't matter to anyone because we just keep consuming crap and not caring. Nor would we care unless we saw it in real life. I was amazed when he mentioned this game because I actually own it and took it out and we played it for hours. He explained a ton of stuff from the cards which happened, and cards which which they think will happen soon. He said each and every card in the picture is something from the wall and nothing is made up. He said the card game is a giant timeline leading up to the end or discovery of Antichrist. Every time they open a new room or a different section to the temple, it's littered with more images. He mentioned a ton of other games, movies, shows, books, and other stuff which they hid stuff, but I can't remember all the names. They aren't sure, but they constantly hide hints in TV. Even for them, it's like a giant mess of information they are constantly working on. He said the pictures are one thing. They are... Okay, this is getting a bit weird now. Just wait. There are hundreds of books and scripts which contain stuff no one understands. He educated me on the Voynich manuscript. Is one of the books which they found and made its way in the public. No one knows what it means or anything, but they think it was ancient methods for making medicine and stuff, other stuff no one actually knows. Of course he has to mention the Voynich manuscript. Do you know what the Voynich manuscript is?
It sounds familiar. Is that the one with like the in like writing and stuff in it?
Yeah, so it's a medieval manuscript.
Weird pictures.
It's a medieval manuscript which no one knows what it is. And has confused scholars. It's thought to be some sort of like book about herbal remedies, but it contains a lot of bizarre illustrations of like bathtubs, lots of pictures of naked people in bathtubs, and lots of herbal remedies, and it's in an unknown language, and it's just really mysterious. It's thought it's kind of just like a medicine book. It's thought it's maybe written in some sort of cipher for Latin, but no one has been able to decipher it. Some scholars are convinced it's just gibberish, just made as a joke or something. But whenever people start mentioning the Voynich manuscript, you know they're reaching, because people like to make claims about it because no one can prove them wrong because no one knows what it means. It's not really a very significant text. Like, it's not really like important or anything. It's just very mysterious. Like, no one knows what it means. Doesn't mean it's the key to everything. It just means it's mysterious. Same with stuff like the Rawhonk Codex, and there's one more. Let's see, what was it?
Cool. Got our new logo. That's so cool, actually.
For your unit?
Our unit, yeah, it's so cool.
What is it? You're gonna get a patch?
I'm gonna buy like t-shirts. They're gonna put that shit on everything, and you're gonna be able to buy it. For
Actually,
everyone's gonna buy it. It's so cool.
I kind of want to buy one too, but then I'd be like a poser. Like, that's a no-no.
How it would work though is like, they'll like say, hey, everyone interested in buying this, sign up. It's like, oh, we're gonna be releasing a unit hoodie or like a unit polo shirt or whatever. You'd like sign up. Like they do them made to order. They don't actually like give them to everybody. Like sold and they can store it.
Merchandising a unit is genius.
Pretty cool. Maybe after the war. Everyone's so brain-rotted that like war can be like marketable. Be like, this unit sunk this ship. And like, oh, and buy it.
U.S. politics is like reality TV, so why can't war? Like, what if like memes or like you know how there used to be like newsreels at the beginning of movies? Maybe like that's what memes are gonna be. Like, people are gonna like make memes about like people getting like bombed. I don't know. That'd be weird. So the manuscript I was thinking of was the Copial cipher. So Rawhonk Codex, Copial cipher, and Voynich manuscript are all the kind of top mysterious manuscripts. Okay. I'm going to start reading again. He mentioned 9/11 was in the temples and several times. Okay, what the heck? Just imagine. You just walk into an ancient temple, and then you just see, like, 9/11 just carved into the wall. Whatever. And they did attempt to prevent it, but somehow there was a group in the government which made it happen because of interests. They even hinted it on The Simpsons. Okay, now they're bringing The Simpsons into this. So, Simpsons, Antarctica, 9/11... Voynich manuscript. This is getting worse and worse. And several other shows it was coming, but the public can't make connections or believe anything. He says the more stuff they release, the less likely it is the majority of the population believes. Instead, they focus on working, crapping, eating, and making money. It's just nothing but entertainment. This is what he said. He said there's a connection between how much crap from the temple they put into the media. The more likely it is to be successful. Even the symbols, which are littered across all media. Illuminati symbols come from these temples. Other temples in the world, but in these temples they approach hundreds of times in order like language. So they just throw it out into the media and we buy it up. Not even they know what they truly mean, but they just keep filling our media with it and we just keep consuming it. They have no idea whether these stories happened or will be happening either. There is just no order in how they appear in the temples. It's all scattered. So they are scared that there are beasts hidden deep in the temples. Another interesting thing he said was that you cannot look through the walls. So normally they could use imaging and radar and other technologies to map out the temples, but these appear as one giant black blip with all the technology they attempt to use. There are literally mice in this mousetrap making their way through this maze, hoping to get lucky. Okay, so it looks like they kind of addressed what you said, like, why can't they just use imaging? Apparently it's, like, immune to it somehow. Is that even possible?
It's like, there's, like, lead deposit, maybe, I don't know.
It's like kryptonite.
Lead rock deflecting the...
Giant lead pyramids in Antarctica.
Probably show up, too. Like a lead pyramid-shaped hole in, like, your scan.
Does lead rust? Let's see. No, the lead does not rust.
Metal.
Or lead can corrode. Yeah, wouldn't lead corrode if it was in a giant pyramid after that amount of time? Like, lead pipes get corroded pretty fast.
There's not a lot of moisture in Antarctica. Like, there's water everywhere, but, like, it's actually a desert.
Frozen.
All frozen. Like, it doesn't really snow. It's like pick up the already existing snow and just blow it around. Like, they don't get, like, new snowfall.
Like permafrost.
Everything's just, like, it's like 2 miles of just solid ice. It's just like a desert, liquid water there. So nothing to corrode it.
I'm going to start reading again. The amazing part, he said, of the temples is how complicated it is constructed. From the 500 people who died, 400 are still missing. So the puzzles and stuff you do to open doors actually open up traps where you fall into or some stuff. And those 400 have disappeared into the temple somewhere, and not a single one has been found yet. They fear they have become infected with the zombie virus, for there are symbols showing death all over the temple, but they fear once they reach a certain level, they will find all those lost in a weird state, dead or infected or something. Also, there is no noise in the temple. When you walk in, when you talk, it's a very flat tone. There is no outside voices. It's like a dead silence, which makes it really scary to work in. Most of these people who are deciphering will not enter the temples under any circumstances. This is why they send third worlders to go in and try and open the stuff up. Yeah, he said it looks incredible.
Dang.
Like, you want to say something?
I was just gonna say ouch, but that's kind of true though.
So they're just throwing in South Americans and Africans at it, just seeing what sticks.
I was gonna say people would notice if like people were disappearing, but like if it's just random worlders, who cares? Like you know.
Yeah, these billionaires are so evil. They're sending Africans to Antarctica to solve puzzles. How could they be so
That would
evil?
make a good video game.
It's like a puzzle game.
Yeah, a good movie.
Puzzle game about being an African solving puzzles in Antarctica. I mean, if you're like a third world person, you probably don't have very much education. So why are you betting on these random people to solve puzzles if they have like no education? Like, wouldn't you want someone who's like a scholar or like someone who can like prove himself? Why are you just sending in random people? That's not going to prove anything. I don't get it. He said it looks incredible, like a man holding up a dog by its tail. It's almost this is referring to the statue familiar. Almost the full length of him, but the skull is huge. He said the most important stuff had been removed. They kept the stuff, the fluff, which keeps people calm and going to church. Everything in the Bible is true, with many parts missing. He actually mentioned that Noah's Ark was based on Antarctica, and they expected to find evidence of it once the snow melts. Okay, how's it even possible? Because Noah lived in like the Middle East, like because Canaan was settled when they left the Garden of Eden. So you can assume Noah lived somewhere nearby that. So why would Noah be anywhere remotely close to Antarctica on the other side of the world? I don't get it. You mentioned that Noah's Ark was based on Antarctica, and they expect to find some evidence of it once the snow melts. A part he mentioned was that the Antichrist was at war with God. Okay, well, if you're God, you're also all-powerful, so what's the point of a war? Like, that would mean God is choosing to go to war. Like, what? What do you think about that?
He's like bored.
Yeah.
He doesn't have hands. Can't play Xbox. So you just have to like play Call of Duty in real life.
If it's like Gmod, like you can do anything. So all you do is just spawn enemies and just shoot them over and over. So you pass the time. That's why he got frozen. But he said God isn't what we think he is. He's not a man, but a living organism capable of hive mind-like thoughts that we can see the future. So God, the spirit mind hive, warned Noah of the flood ice age coming, but didn't warn the Antichrist. I don't know because it went over my head. As he was talking, he said these two have been at war for a long time, and humans are just the vessels which they use. That is why Christ and Antichrist will be located near each other. And he said the Matrix told the story as the blue pill and the red pill. One will be the Antichrist and bring about death. The other will be life. Though the story as the blue pill as admitted they have zero clues to which and where they are in the temple. There's a giant power struggle in these workings on the temple because they are offering to test dummies, thinking they will get immortality, but they are scared of what will come about. Okay, what the heck did I just read? What do you think? Let's hear your thoughts.
He's just schizophrenic, that's all I think.
He did mention earlier that all this stuff is from his friend, but specifically while they're drinking. Okay, if someone starts drinking, anything they say is instantly not trustworthy. Whatever. We're almost to the end. I still have a lot more stories, but I am done for tonight. I might come back in some future Antarctica threads. Screen cap my posts and post them in the threads so I don't end up repeating myself. I'm trying to recall word for word what they told me, and I'm doing my best. He said, like, the body is the temple or some stuff. He said you are what you eat, like you consume a virus, and it can control you without you knowing. That is what he has been trying to tell me, Christ and all the Antichrist, and that is why Christ actually translates to body. That's not what Christ translates to. So Antichrist is antibody. Well, antibodies are good. Like, antibodies are, like, what prevent disease, whatever. Something which goes against us. I don't have the answers you seek, just some information from what is going on. If I meet up with him, he randomly appears at my door in the middle of the night with stuff sometimes. Let me know what questions you want asked. He never gives me names, but answers everything I ask. He said the Bible was true and that they actually hit it heavily, removing everything of value. Okay, that is the full thread. What do you think about that? Just the full thing.
In general, I think it's funny that he opened up with, like, using, like, his buddy was a Freemason to, like, add credibility to it. I think that's kind of goofy. When I hear some of the Freemason, I'm like, I don't like, oh, wow, this guy's legit. Like, it doesn't have an effect that I think.
When someone says that, oh, a Freemason said this, I'm probably just thinking, okay, either misunderstood what they said or they're messing with you, because Freemasonry is actually just really boring. There's really nothing crazy about it. And, I just don't understand. Like, this is just so crazy. Like, it just reeks of, like, mental illness. It makes good fiction. Like, it's a good story, but, like, it just makes no logical sense. Alright, you asked earlier about some comments. I'll read a few. LMAO, these posts are complete bull crap, but they somehow are definitely my favorite to read. Yes, this is why I'm actually subscribed to the sub, so I can enjoy the schizopulse without having to do the legwork of lurking 4chan. My favorite part was at the end, paraphrased. Bro, so, like, Christ is the body of the church, right? So what is anti-church? Antibody, bro. Boom. Mind blown, dude. Schizophrenic alcoholic is speaking. Listen and learn. TLDR, drunk ramblings of his rich Mason best friend. A lot of section was cut out from the Bible, notably, where the Antichrist will come from. Apparently the Antichrist is frozen kilometers deep in Antarctica. Temples all over Antarctica with traps inside. 500 people dead, 400 people fell in the traps, and still not found. Symbols found in the temple predict the future, and the cult association, whichever it is, his best friend is a part of, is in charge of putting against the mainstream media, games, etc. Simpsons predicting the future.
I'll incorporate that into my belief system.
Yeah.
The comment.
And his friend forgot to take their medication. Still saving this makes for a nice plot hook for the Call of Cthulhu games.
And is obviously not real. He just made him up as an excuse to tell the story.
Yeah. Or he thinks he has a friend, but he's just mentally ill. Sounds like the plot from a crappy book I've read, The Atlantis Gene, where the writer has put every crappy conspiracy theory imagined into a blender, and the result was still better than this. Okay, I'm looking this up. What the heck is Atlantis Gene? The greatest mystery of all time. The history of human origins will be revealed. In Antarctica, researchers discover a mysterious structure buried in ice. In a lab in Jakarta, an autism researcher identifies revolutionary treatment that can change everything. Okay, what am I reading already? But these two incredible discoveries aren't what they seem. They will set off a race to unravel the deepest secrets of human existence in an event that could possibly change humanity forever. Experience a novel that started it all. The Atlantis Gene is the first book in H.G. Riddle's best-selling Origin Mystery Trilogy. Best-selling? I've never even heard of this guy before. I don't think anyone's ever heard of this. It's being sold for $6, 60% off. It can't be that good. The series has sold over 4 million copies worldwide. Received 140,000 ratings on Amazon. Okay, now he's just glazing himself. 70,000 years ago, the human race almost went extinct. We survived, but no one knows how until now. Okay, have humans even been around for 70,000 years? Okay, 200,000 years.
Good
Okay.
job.
Alright. I guess I'm wrong. The countdown to the next stage of human evolution is about to begin, and humanity might not survive this time. Off the coast of Antarctica, a research vessel discovers a mysterious structure buried deep within the iceberg. It has been there for thousands of years, and something is guarding it. Could it be the fabled city of Atlantis? Okay, Atlantis is off the coast of the Pacific. Or no, the Atlantic. What ocean is Atlantis? Yeah, Atlantis is in the Atlantic Ocean, not underneath Antarctica. At the same time, in Jakarta, Indonesia, a brilliant geneticist named Kate Warner has just discovered a breakthrough treatment for autism, or so she thinks. What she thinks is found as far more deadly for her and the entire human race. Her work could unleash the next stage of human evolution. It might also hold the key to unlocking the mysterious structure off the coast of Antarctica. On the other side of Jakarta, Agent David Vale is racing to uncover a conspiracy with far-reaching implications, but he's out of time. His informant inside the conspiracy is dead. Some organization has been infiltrated, and his enemy has turned the hunt on him. Now he's on the run. But when he receives a coded message related to the imminent attack, he risks everything to save the one person he can help to stop it, Dr. Kate Warner. Together, Kate and David race to unravel a global conspiracy and learn the truth about Atlantis, about the Atlantis gene, and human origins. Their journey takes them to far corners of the globe and into secrets of the past. Their enemy is close on their heads, and they will stop at nothing to obtain Kate's research and force the next stage of human evolution, even if it means killing 99% of the world's population. David and Kate can stop them if they trust each other and stay alive. Okay, so the cure to autism is underneath Atlantis. That's the plot of this book. Okay, that is stupid.
Is autism so bad that it's worth going to Atlantis to cure?
Yeah, not only is Atlantis in Antarctica, it has the cure to autism, and then there's people in the book, the bad guys are trying to cause the next stage of evolution for humans. So does that mean they're trying to give humanity does that mean they're trying to give 100% of the population autism? So what? So it's a conspiracy to give the entire world autism, and they have a cure for autism under Antarctica. That's like this plot of the first X-Men movie. That's stupid. Let's see if I can get through these comments. Very cool sci-fi plot. Few flaws though. A little hung up over the booby traps and stuff. Needs more of the ancient alien type tech. Also, Christ, in English translation of the Greek, Christos simply means anointed one or Messiah, not body. Schizo Bro saw one too many fake videos online, but also want more world building around God and Antichrist origins. Overall, 5 out of 10 science fiction novel, but 2 out of 10 conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
Now, who's the schizo here? Annan or his imaginary Mason friend? What untreated schizophrenia does to a MF. Freemasonry isn't even a centralized or hierarchical organization. How the heck are they controlling governments in Antarctica? That's actually kind of a good point. All right. Any other thoughts?
I think that last one was kind of like lame. He tried to go too crazy, and it's what's it called? Jumping the shark. Like when you jump the shark, and it's like not even like interesting anymore.
I think it has a kind of a cool premise, like Antichrist being frozen under Antarctica, and there's like these like temples and like the billionaires controlling it. I guess it's kind of cool, but like it's a massive like trust me bro, and like it just like everything in it is just so blatantly wrong that it's just so hard to take it seriously. Okay, let's see how... Okay, it's been 4 hours and 20 minutes. Maybe we can split this into 4 parts. Do you have any closing thoughts before we end this?
I challenge everybody to just come up with better conspiracies. Like, if you're going to write about, like, a cool squid monster in Antarctica, don't also make them, like, super intelligent for some reason. Like, makes them not interesting anymore. Like, limit, like, the weird bits of your stories to, like, a minimum. So, like, you can, like, it's not too jarring.
Yeah, keep it more mysterious. Tell us only stuff that adds to it rather than detracts.
Instead of saying it's hyper intelligent, imply that it's hyper intelligent. Like have it do things in the story that are like interesting, but like not just dead giveaways.